Life is full of moments that challenge our patience, stretch our limits, and occasionally rattle our inner calm. Yet the ancient Stoics understood something essential. It's never the events themselves that unsettle us, but rather how we choose to interpret them. Each time we face a difficult individual, even a coworker who undercuts us, a friend who consistently takes without giving, or a stranger neglecting basic decency, we're presented with a choice. We can allow their actions to dictate how we feel, or we can assume ownership of our own responses. Stoicism, forged in the turbulence of ancient Greece and Rome, teaches us to direct attention toward what we can influence: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Today, we'll delve deeply into how this philosophy provides effective methods to deal with selfish people while preserving your equilibrium and upholding your principles. We won't be floating in the realm of mere theory. We'll tackle practical, applicable steps you can start using immediately to stay centered and calm, to transcend the turmoil. By the end, you'll see how Stoic insights not only transform your dealings with others, but also help you remain steady amid life's everyday trials. Stick around, because what follows might fundamentally shift how you approach every challenging interaction going forward. As we take this journey through Stoic strategies together, if you find value in this exploration, consider showing support by subscribing and make sure you watch through to fully absorb the message. Let's begin. Stoicism isn't just a batch of antiquated concepts from ancient texts. It's a dynamic, actionable philosophy that has persisted from the bustling forums of Athens and Rome into our contemporary coffee shops and workplaces. At its heart, Stoicism guides us to live rightly in a world that often feels beyond our control. Founded by Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BCE, its teachings are most famously articulated by later Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, whose timeless meditations resonate across centuries. The Stoics shared a central understanding. The quality of life isn't shaped by external occurrences, but by our responses to them. They taught that genuine happiness arises from accepting each moment as it comes, remaining unshackled by craving pleasure or fearing pain, and using reason to comprehend the nature of existence, fulfilling our role within it. What keeps Stoicism so relevant is its pragmatic bent. It's not merely about weathering difficulties, but about reshaping our reactions to adversity. Stoics distinguish sharply between what lies within our control, our judgments, intentions, and conduct, and everything external, which we cannot truly govern. This simple division fosters both serenity and empowerment, a priceless liberation in our hurried modern era filled with uncontrollable events. Through Stoicism, we direct our efforts inward, cultivating virtues like wisdom, fairness, courage, and moderation. These qualities serve as cornerstones for a meaningful life, guiding us to act ethically and with sound judgment. In this way, Stoicism transcends endurance. It encourages us to flourish. It reminds us that tranquility and fulfillment don't hinge on outward gains, but on the inner strength we develop to face anything life may bring. When it comes to dealing with selfish individuals, Stoicism equips us with potent strategies for maintaining composure and integrity, rather than falling into cycles of anger or exasperation. Though we cannot steer others' behaviors, we can master our own responses. This fundamental insight can transform how we interact with difficult, self-centered people. One key Stoic technique is to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. When confronted with selfishness, pause before allowing emotions to control your actions. In that pause, you reclaim the power to act from rationality rather than raw feeling. As Epictetus emphasized, it's not events themselves, but our interpretations that truly matter. Imagine being cut off in traffic or talked over in a meeting. Your immediate instinct might be outrage or silence. But Stoicism says that such behavior is beyond your control. What you can influence is your own mindset. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that every rude, egocentric, or aggressive individual he met was simply acting according to their own nature, and that his task wasn't to alter them, but to uphold virtue himself. By shifting your focus inward, you find patience and self-mastery. Another Stoic approach involves cultivating empathy and understanding. This doesn't mean justifying bad behavior, but acknowledging that selfishness often springs from insecurity, fear, or personal struggles. Marcus Aurelius would consider what another person might need at that moment, recalling that everyone grapples with challenges and imperfections. Choosing compassion over confrontation elevates you above their negativity, ensuring you aren't dragged down into bitterness. The Stoics also taught the practice of premeditatio malorum, envisioning potential difficulties before they arise. By anticipating encounters with selfish or discourteous people, you cushion yourself from shock and disappointment, telling yourself, "Today I may meet those who are rude or inconsiderate, and I am ready to face them with composure rather than blindsided." Detaching from unrealistic expectations is equally vital. Much unhappiness arises from assuming everyone will be courteous or just. Epictetus advised, aligning our will not with how events should unfold, but with how they actually do. In dealing with selfish people, accept that some will always act in their own interests. Freeing yourself from the notion that everyone must be fair spares you needless frustration. Instead, you focus on what you can shape, your reaction, and your mindset. Finally, Stoicism suggests finding value in the challenge itself. Dealing with selfish behavior is an opportunity to practice patience, restraint, and discernment. Seneca noted that trials strengthen the mind as physical labor builds the body. Every time you choose calm and virtue over anger and resentment, you fortify your character. Selfish people, then, become stepping stones for your growth, not just obstacles to your peace. By applying these Stoic strategies, you maintain mental equilibrium and grow stronger in the process. Now, let's examine how to put these principles into action in everyday scenarios. It's one thing to understand Stoic philosophy, and another to employ it when confronted by a self-serving colleague, a demanding friend, or a rude stranger. These real-world tests are precisely where Stoicism proves its worth. Whether at the office, at home, or in social settings, Stoicism helps you handle selfishness with dignity and grace. Consider the workplace. We've all had that coworker who promotes their interests above all else. They push their agenda, maybe even stepping on colleagues to ascend the ladder. Stoicism reminds you that while you cannot dictate their ambitions, you can determine your own response. Rather than drowning in office politics or stewing over unfairness, remember Marcus Aurelius's counsel. You control your mind, not external events. You might choose to address their behavior calmly or simply concentrate on your own projects without resentful distraction. Maintaining this perspective preserves your sanity and efficiency. At home, Stoicism guides you through personal relationships strained by selfishness. Whether it's a family member insisting on having their way or a friend who never reciprocates, these dynamics can be draining. Here, Stoic empathy shines. Instead of reacting angrily, ask yourself what drives their behavior. Understanding that their selfishness might arise from insecurity or stress helps you respond more patiently. Epictetus reminds us that people are troubled not by incidents themselves, but by their interpretations. Shift your viewpoint, and you transform the encounter. 7. In social gatherings, where one person hogs the spotlight or disregards others, frustration easily bubbles up. Stoicism's principle of releasing expectations keeps your cool intact. Not everyone will behave ideally, and acknowledging this beforehand spares you disappointment. Instead of being vexed by their conduct, you remain composed, perhaps steering the conversation gracefully or choosing to listen more attentively. You're no longer at the mercy of their self-absorption. Everyday encounters with strangers, someone who jumps the queue at a store, or a driver who ignores basic courtesy, are perfect arenas to apply Stoic reasoning. Marcus Aurelius advised anticipating these irritations. Selfish individuals will always exist, so why be caught off guard? By imagining the possibility beforehand, you greet these moments with calm instead of fury. Stoicism also encourages discerning which battles merit engagement. When faced with selfish behavior, ask if confronting it is worth your emotional energy. Often, the Stoic choice is to let go. Seneca observed that true poverty lies in craving more than you need. By relinquishing the urge to correct every slight, you conserve your mental energy for what truly matters, your inner tranquility. In applying these lessons, selfish people cease being mere nuisances. They become catalysts for practicing virtue and patience. Each encounter strengthens your capacity to remain unruffled by others' actions, cultivating a buffer that protects your inner balance. As Stoic practice deepens over time, its advantages extend well beyond managing tough individuals. Initially, you might see Stoicism help you stay calm during stressful meetings or keep your cool when someone cuts you off. But gradually, these principles reshape your entire worldview. Through consistent application, Stoicism lays down a bedrock of resilience, serenity, and insight that enriches your life on every level. One major long-term benefit is emotional resilience. Life's challenges, be they selfish people, abrupt changes, or unforeseen setbacks, no longer wield the same influence over your mental state. You don't become unfeeling, you simply develop a fortified emotional core. Marcus Aurelius often reflected that while external turmoil may swirl, it need not penetrate your inner self unless you allow it. Over time, you realize that although you can't alter the world's unpredictability, you can always control your attitude. With practice, a profound sense of inner peace emerges. By accepting what's beyond your control, you stop battling reality. Seneca noted that much of our anxiety stems from wishing circumstances were different. Stoicism trains you to embrace what is, responding with calm reason. This peace grows into a stable inner trait, so that instead of fretting over future uncertainties, you stay anchored in the present, facing challenges with clarity and confidence. Your relationships also improve. By employing Stoic empathy and compassion, you gain greater insight into others, understanding that everyone struggles internally. This reduces friction and misunderstanding. With Stoicism, you no longer take selfish acts personally. Instead, you perceive them as opportunities to practice patience and kindness. Over time, this approach leads to more authentic and harmonious interactions, as you no longer get entangled in needless conflicts. Moreover, Stoicism helps you find meaning and purpose. By consistently exercising virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, you align your life with deeper values. Instead of chasing external success or validation, you measure your worth by how well you live according to your principles. Epictetus taught that what matters most is living in harmony with reason and nature. As you do so, a quiet fulfillment grows, an understanding that regardless of what happens, you act with honor and authenticity. Self-mastery is another profound outcome of sustained Stoic practice. Learning to manage your reactions and desires grants you a stable command over yourself. Rather than feeling buffeted by external forces or others' behavior, you become a steady presence in your own life. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that external events can't harm his character unless he permits it. This self-governance doesn't eliminate challenges, but it ensures you won't be conquered by them. Lastly, Stoicism nurtures gratitude and contentment. By appreciating the present and acknowledging the intangible riches, time, relationships, personal growth, you embrace what Seneca championed, recognizing the wealth already at hand. Instead of ceaselessly longing for more, you find joy in simplicity. This shift makes for a genuinely richer life, no longer driven by external pressures, but guided by an inner sense of abundance. Ultimately, Stoicism is about thriving, not merely surviving. Over the long run, it redefines how you perceive and respond to every hardship. You become more resilient, calmer, and in tune with what genuinely matters. Stoicism offers the enduring gift of a life lived with purpose, serenity, and strength. This is the power of Stoicism, knowing that we are not isolated, stronger, and in tune with what matters most. In closing, no matter the difficulties you face, selfish people, sudden obstacles, or the unpredictability of existence, remember that your capacity to remain steady and resourceful lies within. Stoicism doesn't preach emotional suppression or avoidance of conflict. Rather, it guides you to meet life's struggles with fortitude, clarity, and moral grounding. You have these tools and this knowledge. Now it's time to apply them. Thank you for joining this exploration with the Stoic Way, where we walk together in applying timeless Stoic wisdom to overcome life's hurdles. Before you depart, consider continuing your journey by exploring one of the suggested videos now displayed. Your path toward greater mental resilience and tranquility continues there. Until next time, stay steadfast and stay true to Stoic principles.